You have unread texts from Golf Buds. Would you like me to read them?
Yes.
Okay. Johnny says, what are the nicotine pouches you had on the course? Walker says, 8 milligram on nicotine pouches. Billy says, I love the mint one.
I like that one.
Walker says, me too. By the way, you both stink at golf. LOLOL.
Come on. Carry on nicotine pouches. Shop now at onnicotine.com/group text. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
It is time to leave your worries outside and laugh with us inside the Treehouse. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma on Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. It seems, gentlemen, that has body positivity gotten out of hand?
Oh, yeah.
Last week, I saw this story, and now there have been a few others added to it. Kind of like need a Chinese buffet in high school. Just can't get enough. Detroit rapper Dank Demoss is now suing Lyft because she says she was denied a ride because of her weight. Her legal name, Dejua Blanding, shared a video on Instagram on January 19th that captured an interaction with an alleged Lyft driver who denied her a ride. The driver says in the clip, "I'm sorry, I got no space. My car is small." Dank Demoss, the rapper, replies, "I can fit in this car." The driver replies, "Believe me, you can't." "So I'm sorry, I'm going to cancel the ride. You're not going to be charged." Demoss says, "So you're telling me I can't get in the Lyft because I can't fit in your car? So are you really telling me I'm too big to get in your car, so I've got to order another Lyft?" The driver responds, "Yeah, you need to order a bigger car." He goes on to say an issue with his tires is a reason she can't ride in the vehicle. So now she's suing Lyft.
He had a Mercedes C-Class.
Yeah, I have a Mercedes C-Class, and I can tell you she would not fit in that car.
Right. And he said he had just got new tires in an alignment, and that was going to screw it up, and he's absolutely correct.
Yes.
Do we know how much the rapper Dank Demoss weighs?
I if she's anything short of $6 bills, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, for sure. She's at least 600 pounds.
I saw a photo of her on the news talking about this, and it's actually quite easy to tell how big she is because she's wearing very tight athleisure yoga type attire. It's very different these days compared to when I was a fat kid growing up. As a fat kid, what I did to hide my weight was I wore oversized stuff. It's hard, it's like, whereas today, I don't know if it's just the general body positivity or there's just a lack of oversized clothing and there's just so much athleisure. I don't know, but the skin tight stuff, no matter what, is still finding its way on to bodies.
I think before you wear yoga pants, you have to actually do yoga. Like that is they don't give you a karate gi without taking karate classes. So,
or just at least be able to touch your toes. I mean, yeah. I'm all for body positivity. We grew up in the waifish supermodel era, like Kate Moss and them, and it wasn't a good look. I'm glad that we're past that, and women can be healthy, be thick. Great. Heart disease is still the number one killer of women.
Mhm.
Obesity is still the biggest problem on our country, from healthcare system, everything. It's like, get your fat ass, and walk, do something. God, you've got Ozempic now on all those shots. You can just take a shot and lose weight. And it's like, why was she? This wasn't the first time. There's a reason why she was recording this whole interaction. I mean, this was just a pure setup. Like, you're a fat ass. Get a Uber XL. Get the big car.
Yeah, if you take up a full, like if you were on the bus, if she was taking public transportation, she would have to have her own seat. Like, she would have to have her own space because she's that big.
Well, on a bus, when you say her own seat, you mean her own row.
Right.
Yeah. Transportation is made for the masses, not the massive. It's like,
that's great. I like that.
You've got to buy, or, get an F-350 in a trailer.
And where is my right when I go, I don't want you in my car. Like, it's nothing to do. I have brand new shocks, brand new tires, new alignment. I don't want you're too big. You're not going to fit. Yeah. And you're arguing with me now. I don't want you in my car. Why can't I do that?
And you should. It's not like, and that's Lyft fired the guy, which is BS. And because Lyft doesn't pay for their maintenance or anything else. No. That's his motive. That's how he makes a living. No, you're not going to want someone that's just literally going to bog down one side of your car. I mean, if you take, if 4 people, that's the average size of a group of 4, 600 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, I have a C-class, and I had an ex-girlfriend many moons ago, and her brother was rather big. And we were in LA, and he got in my car in the back seat. And he's not 600 pounds by any means, but he's close to 300, I would guess. And he got in the back seat. And when we came out of the inclined driveway, it scraped the bottom of the car. And I've never had that noise. I've never heard that noise in my car before. And it was from the back. And I was like, oh, okay, and when he got out of the car, like, you could visibly see the car raise.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, it's also my prerogative. Like, if restaurants can say we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone for any reason, so should gig workers. You know what I mean? Like rideshare people should be able to do the same thing. I don't want you in my car. If you're too drunk, I don't want you in my car. You reek of cigarette smoke, I don't want you in my car.
And too intoxicated, they absolutely can say, I don't want to take you, and they're fine. Yeah. It's like, and why? A term we really need to put back into play, because it is accurate, is morbidly obese.
Yes.
I think what's happened is we've had the body positivity thing overcorrect. So this is another, I think this is another good example of overcorrection. Bullying and fat shaming and all this stuff was really horrific when I was a kid. And it's affected me into my adulthood. It was bad. And there is a line to where you can say, you know what, you don't have to be waif thin, or you don't have to fit into a certain mold to be considered healthy or attractive, whatever. But when you're then overcorrecting like a lopsided C-class lift into dangerous health territory, that's different. Because, Trey, to me, you hit the nail on the head when you said having a healthy outlook on body positivity, having a healthy body is one thing. You can be larger and be healthy. But if you're 900 pounds, I challenge you to produce your blood work that says you are a healthy individual.
No, and one of the things you don't hear about as much, but all of us probably knew, are at the time, and it happens to both sexes, but at the time, girls with eating disorders. I knew girls that died and or destroyed themselves with eating disorders, and I never want to see that. It was awful to watch. So all for healthy body positivity, but at a certain point, you're morbidly obese. There is a line there that that pendulum has got to come back the other way.
Yeah, I mean, there's I can't remember who the artist was that called out Lizzo, and he got a lot of flack. And he's like, I'm just saying she's going to have a heart attack. if she doesn't do something. And now Lizzo's down 100 and some odd pounds now.
How dare you? You're fat shaming her and blah, 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 blah.
That's exactly what it was. And he's like, I'm not saying that. He said, all I said was she's big to the point where she's going to have heart disease and she's going to have a heart attack and die. And that would be a tragedy. And she needs to lose weight because she's too fat. And the uproar that people had, like, I can't believe you called her fat. He's like, well, you look at her, what do you call her? Well, she's a plus size girl. Okay, that's your version of saying fat. Like, I mean, I got to like the largest I ever got. And you guys, I don't think even knew me. It's like, I got to 252 pounds. And I am not, I was 100. When I finished college, I was 137 pounds. No, when I started college, I was 137 pounds. At the end, it's like 196. And I would always say, like, when I get to 200 pounds, I'm going to go on a diet. And I stepped on the scale and I was like, oh, no.
Which is funny because that's the same noise that the scale made.
That's exactly right.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
If you miss any part of the Treehouse Show, you can catch up with the Treehouse Show podcast, available on all major platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon Music, and more. It is the Treehouse Show podcast, available on your favorite streaming and podcast channels. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma, inside the Treehouse today, just talking about what seems to be the overcorrection, the pendulum swinging way back the other direction when it comes to body positivity. And Trey, you saw a really good example of this on TikTok, that an overweight female posted about, I guess it was the size of the seats on an airline.
Yeah, she's like trying to start a GoFundMe to take on the airlines because she's not the problem.
She wants the airlines to make bigger seats to accommodate her size.
Yes, they shouldn't have to buy 2 seats, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My body isn't the problem. The system is.
All right. She says, my body isn't the problem. The system is. It's hard to gauge, height and weight on this, but she is quite large. She barely fits into an airline seat. So
she doesn't fit into a seat. She barely fits into a row.
She doesn't fit in that aisle.
Yeah. The aisle is struggling.
Her butt's on that handle, on the armrest.
Let me look at that again.
My body isn't the problem.
Oh, yeah.
The system is.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. She's basically taking up 2 seats.
Yes.
When you're forced to buy 2 seats or squeeze into a space that wasn't designed for your body, it's not just inconvenient, it's dehumanizing. This isn't a luxury, it's a basic human right to travel with dignity.
This plus... is it? She says
No.
It's a basic human right to travel with dignity?
Oh, I mean that, yes, but it's not the right of the airlines to accommodate your size.
Yeah, you're the reason why we all have to pay baggage fees now. Because you cost more fuel. And please note, she's on oxygen, and she's not that old.
Yeah,
do we know that the oxygen is a health-related issue, like a weight-related issue?
Yes.
No, I'm saying, do we know that?
Do we know it?
Is it possible she has some other condition or disease that requires the oxygen? Or
I didn't read anything in the story that it was other than obesity and the fact that she struggles to get around.
Gotcha.
System is. When you're forced to buy 2 seats or squeeze into a space that wasn't designed for your body, it's not just inconvenient, it's dehumanizing. This isn't a luxury, it's a basic human right to travel with dignity.
This plus-sized woman believes it's a basic human right to travel with dignity, and she's standing up for change. With every
Not to be a dick, but I'm glad she can stand up on her own.
journey, Jalen challenges the uncomfortable realities that many larger travelers face, from cramped seats to insensitive policies, and she demands a change.
You deserve to be comfortable flying, and you deserve to live your best life just like everybody else. Airline seats are too small for many people, regardless of their size or weight.
Jalen has launched a GoFundMe to add.
There she is correct. I agree that airline seats are too small for most people. But that's the prerogative of the airline. That's their business. They can run it how they choose. If there's an airline that decides that they want to accommodate travelers with larger seats for everybody, then that can happen. But most of them, all of them, don't operate that way.
Pay for business class. They have much larger seats. If that is the case, what you want to do is you want to be a discount flyer, and you want to fly on a good deal on a cheap ticket, but you don't want to do anything about your health. That's clearly not okay. Then you have to buy 2 tickets.
There's a fine line between accommodating someone for something like a disability, something that they cannot help, versus this. And this is harsh, but it is reality. For most people, there are exceptions, but for most people, this is a choice. It is something that you do, that you are that size. And keep in mind, this is coming from someone who's been overweight the majority of his life, especially as a kid. That has had ramifications into adulthood.
But I mean, it also goes for like my friends who are professional wrestlers. One's 6'9", my buddy Lance, and then Satnam is 7'2". You'll never hear them like they always ask if there's something open in the bulkhead. Yeah. Like, so if I can get an aisle in the bulkhead, so I can stretch my legs out. And almost every time the airlines will be like, you know what, let me just move your seat. It's no big deal. Because the guy who's moving,
you can't help if you're 6'9" tall.
Right.
But if you're 6'9" wide, there's a certain amount of personal responsibility that needs to come into play.
Well, and then what about the right of the person? If she only buys 1 ticket, they get stuck next to her. That guy, whoever that person's trip is ruined.
I don't need to accommodate your decisions, good or bad, as a fellow traveler. And the same can be said for the airline itself. And I hate this is kind of what she's made me do. She's kind of making me take the side of the airlines. And in most cases, I can't stand most airlines.
Yeah.
They're terrible. Most of the airlines are absolute garbage, especially when it comes to people and customer service. But this is in one of those rare times where it's kind of like, well, they can't accommodate one person who's 600 pounds versus the rest of the flight that's 200 on average.
Again, transportation is set up for the masses, not the massive.
Let me hear it.
And I mean, good luck with your GoFundMe. You're going to take on the airlines? Okay. You're delusional at this point. If you think they're going to make any adjustments because of you, that's what they'll tell you. You can move up. Go pay the extra $500 and get that seat right there.
Yeah.
And it's much larger and you fit.
Or drive.
And you're comfortable. And it leans back further. So you'll be comfortable. Or like you said, or drive. Yeah, exactly.
Seats are too small for many people, regardless of their size or weight.
Jalen has launched a GoFundMe to advocate for fat equality and offers helpful tips on how
fat equality. Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, it doesn't. I don't believe it works that way.
No, because I mean,
last time I checked,
most people, it was bad choices that led you to this point, and it's laziness that keeps you there. There really aren't that many people that are that morbidly obese because of a health problem. Because even if you have some issue, you have to watch what you eat.
Yeah, I mean, you can have like a thyroid issue that'll make you put on weight or whatever, but there's medication to combat that as well, to keep people. And like you're saying, there's Ozempic. You can get on things that will get you off the oxygen.
Yeah,
that will assist you in losing weight, and also do more. Like, I mean, if you don't have to drive somewhere and you can walk to it, I love walking, and I didn't until I moved to Los Angeles, and we walk everywhere. And when I came back, I still go, like, on average, I'll walk like 8 to 10 miles a day. But I enjoy it. Like, it gives me time to think. I write new bits. I do whatever. But I'm not going to sit back and be 252 pounds again because I was out of breath going up 5 stairs. So I can't imagine what she's going through.
Size travelers can travel safely and comfortably.
You deserve to be comfortable. You deserve to get there and not affect your health in some crazy way. If anyone is being asshole to you and staring at you or making you feel uncomfortable, realize that that's more a reflection of who they are and not you.
Sometimes I would agree with that, but sometimes if we're talking actual reflections, sometimes it is also you.
Yeah, but I mean, if people are making insensitive comments, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can
that right there, that's none of their business. You have no
Yeah.
business commenting on someone else's life and situation and body, whatever. I agree with that. Mind your own business. But if I'm sitting next to you and you're spilling out over into my seat, now you're infringing upon my comfort.
I remember when I was in college, and I was like, when I hit 200, I'm going to weigh myself, but I wouldn't weigh myself. And when I was having a party at my house, and my fraternity brother, Richie Glass, who's one of my favorite human beings in the world, I was sweating. It was winter. It was cold outside. And I was starting to sweat a little bit. And I go, man, we had a lot of people in my apartment. And I go, is it hot in here? And he goes, no, you're fat. And that's the first time I'd ever been called that in my life. And I was like, oh, no, not me. And then I didn't do anything about it then either.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Do you like to watch? Well, you can watch us on YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel. Search for The Treehouse Show on YouTube or go directly to our channel, youtube.com/@treehouseonair. That's youtube.com/@treehouseonair because Treehouse TV is on. Right now, it's the audio version. I'm Dan, along with Trey and Raj, inside the Treehouse today. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. Coming off the discussion about people who are too large too large to fly, too large to ride. I'm just waiting on someone of huge size to complain about the seat sizes on trains. Look, there are other travel options, and I'm a huge, no pun intended, I'm a huge fan of trains.
Yeah.
They take a little bit longer, but they're way more comfortable. They're smooth. The seats are bigger, and there's a lot more room in between rows. Just saying, it might be an option for you if you don't like airline seats, or you're sick of Lyft drivers denying you rides because you're going to break their car.
Yeah, I mean, and they don't all derail. The trains, that is.
They've had a really good track record lately.
We're gonna say this, and we're gonna say this, and then turn on the news, and something's gonna happen. Like, I said it out loud. So just like I can injure sports players with my mind and my words, I can apparently. Let's see if I can derail trains. But yeah, you're right.
Some people have the ability to break curses. Raj creates them.
But you're right. I mean, it's there's other ways to travel that doesn't inconvenience anybody else.
Seriously, take a train. And and I don't mean the cattle car. I mean the actual passenger portion of the train. It's very comfy. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah. And there's upgrades in there that aren't too expensive as well. Like you can
get your own cabin.
Get your own cabin. You get lunch, and I think some trains like are BYOB. So like if you want to have some beers with your lunch or whatever, you can do that as well, or some wine with your dinner. You can knock that out as well. So they're very accommodating. I like it.
All right,
let's car.
Yeah, that's right.
Road trip. That?
Yeah. No, I like one of the actual, units on a train.
Yeah.
You can ride with her. Pointing to the cow over my shoulder.
YouTube.com/@Treehouse on air. All right, let's shift gears just a little bit here. Trey, Raj, I think I already know the answer to this question, but I want to be fair and ask it anyway, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Trey, Raj, have either of you ever a woman so hard that she flew off a balcony?
No, I can't say I have.
Well, there's at least one guy that can say that now. Now, it has a sad ending, but it's still shocking. An OnlyFans star plunged to her death from a hotel balcony while filming a threesome.
Well, that's a buzzkill.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just imagine you're the dude and you're like, yeah, this is a good day. I'm having a great time. I'm really enjoying myself, and I'm f***ing this girl really, really good. And she says harder. So I'm like, okay, I'll f*** you harder. And then eventually you go a little too hard and she just flies off the balcony. I can't just imagine, like, this is a horrific thing. It's a terrible action. It's a tragedy. But I'm still wondering just what the guy's face must have looked like. Just standing there. She used to be right there, and then she wasn't, and it's just him on the balcony going, oh, my God.
Yeah, he went from O-face to uh-oh face.
Exactly. Ana Beatrix Pereira Alves, known as Anna Pauli, was found dead on the ground floor courtyard at the 4-star Mont Blanc Apart Hotel, I believe in Brazil, on January 23rd after an intense lovemaking scene reportedly sent the Brazilian bombshell head over heels off of a balcony.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
At the time of the incident, the 27-year-old is believed to have been in the middle of video recording sexcapades involving two men who gave conflicting testimony to investigators. Oh, this story's getting good.
Mm-hmm.
The two OnlyFans co-stars were released by local police after questioning, though foul play has not yet been ruled out. The boyfriend of Alves, who was not involved in this situation, expressed his grief on social media and hopes that investigators will get to the bottom of her death. I know there are puns all over the place, but you just can't help it. He says if someone is to blame, they will pay, and the culprit will be found. I think they know who they are, dude. This an autopsy has been ordered to determine the exact cause of death, and investigators are reviewing CCTV footage of the incident as part of their investigation. They say it is a complex case, and we don't rule out any possibility from an accident to a possible crime. Yeah, that's.
If she had been pulling a train, she wouldn't have flown.
So sometimes it pays to be the caboose.
It's so terrible.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Just like Aaron said, for all things Treehouse, go to the website, treehouseonair.com. Past shows, links, contact info, and so much more right there on our website, treehouseonair.com. That's treehouseonair.com. Dan, Trey, Raj with you inside the Treehouse today. You know what? It's a long-standing tradition that the commercial breaks on this show are entertaining, sometimes as entertaining, although sometimes not as entertaining as the regular aired segments. In the last few minutes off the air, we discussed the Grammys, how Beyonce won for Best Country Album, even though she herself said it's not a country album, how the Grammys have started skewing younger, and whether that's good or bad. And then somehow all that carried over into, Israel versus Palestine. So it's really an amazing flow that we have on our commercial breaks. And part of me wants to revisit all that. And then part of me thinks, you know what? That's just fun for us to figure out how the hell we went from Beyonce winning a Grammy for Best Country Album to certain artists being thrown off buildings in Palestine.
And Beyonce won Album of the Year.
Yeah.
Like, which I guess she had never won before. I don't know.
It was Taylor Swift that won, and that's when she got interrupted by Kanye West.
No, that was MTV.
That was the MTV Awards? Okay, but it was Taylor Swift that won that year over Beyonce, and everybody was outraged because it was supposed to be like her. She was like a shoe-in to win, and Taylor Swift just came out of left field, and that album was really, really popular, and she won it. Didn't she present it to
the Grammys? So to make up for it, the Grammys gave Beyonce Album of the Year for a country album that she said is not a country album.
And I think Taylor Swift gave her the award. I know the Firefighters gave her that country album she got from Taylor Swift. I think presented one of the awards.
The Album of the Year. That was the final award. The Album of the Year was the LA Firefighters.
Yeah.
Taylor was not presenting, but it was. There were some shock faces on the other country music artists when she got country music artist or Album of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a headline about Casey Musgrave pissed off reaction enrages Beyonce fans. And I looked at it, I was like, she didn't even really make that much of a face. She just looked kind of unenthused. She's like, I'm clapping because I have to. That was really about it.
It deserves some stink face.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think the single that came out, the Texas Hold'em thing, I didn't find that to be good, and we've talked about that one before. Mm-hmm. Stuff that I've heard from the album, okay, it's fine. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but
and it was 28 songs on the album, and there were like 3 or 4 maybe country songs. I don't know. It was the Grammys were a lot better this year, and that they have definitely changed the voting, and it's younger and more relevant than people like. There was always the random old guy that released some album you didn't even know was still alive, and they got Album of the Year. So they've knocked that off, which is great.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I agree. I think the last time I watched a Grammys show was when Beck won for something like Album of the Year, and I was like, why the did he win Album of the Year? Didn't you know he had an album? And I don't even like Beck, but they were like, oh, Album of the Year, Beck. Why? Ugh. So I am glad for that. Although now it sounds like another example of an overcorrection. Did Beyonce win because it was a DEI award?
they even
a DEI Grammy.
Charlie XCX, which some of her music is almost EDM. They had her before. The way they did the music, especially the new artist, they basically did them all in a row. Like it was like probably a 12-minute segment. They all performed. It was solid, and it's a good show.
And when Beck came out as a Scientologist, the whole place got rid of Beck. That's why you haven't really heard much from him.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, so Tom Cruise got another one, huh? Hey, do you guys want to play Versus real quick? I've got a good one for you.
Sure.
All right. Hang on. Let me find it here. It is time for Versus Inside the Treehouse. It is time for Versus Inside the Treehouse. Trey and Raj, I'm going to ask you a question. You have to give me your answer. Would you rather have a matchmaking service find your soulmate for you? Or would you rather have $1 million? On this edition of Versus Inside the Treehouse, would you rather find your soulmate or have $1 million? Trey, let's start with you. Would you rather have your soulmate? Would you rather find your soulmate or have $1 million?
I'm gonna go with $1 million.
Yep.
Because at that point, I can pay someone to be my soulmate for a night.
Raj, what about you?
The $1 million. I can pay a lot of souls
To mate with?
Yeah. You're my wife for tonight.
There you have it. There's Versus Inside the Treehouse. Would you rather have your soulmate or $1 million? The answers were resounding. Give me the cash.
What did you expect the Indian to say? $1 million in an arranged marriage. Let's go.
I really thought one of you might at least think about it for more than 10 seconds, but I was way wrong.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You're listening to The Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You can get even more Treehouse when you subscribe to Treehouse Plus. Bonus content and subscriber-only episodes, including video, so you can see what interesting background Trey has on during the show. That's all available at patreon.com/treehouseonair, patreon.com/treehouseonair to subscribe to Treehouse Plus. Dan, Trey, and Raj with you inside the Treehouse. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. Let's celebrate with some birthdays. Henry Golding turns 37. No, I'm sorry. Henry Golding turns 38 today. He plays Nick in Crazy Rich Asians. He also starred in a very different movie, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. Yes, I saw it.
Mm-hmm. Of course you did. How was it?
It's action-y. It was Snake Eyes versus Storm Shadow origin story thing.
Do they still do like the PSA at the end of? Do they do that for the movies as well? Like when it's like,
no, they can't because the PSA would be you shouldn't have watched this movie, and had you known that, knowing would have been half the battle. Those PSAs need to happen at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, leave now. Go,
Yeah.
Joe.
Exactly. This movie sucks. You should leave now.
This movie sucks so bad. G.I. Joe's not in it.
Oh, that actually is kind of true, though. Other birthdays today. Darren Criss turns 38, plays Blaine on Glee. Also, Versace's killer on American Crime Story. Soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo turns 40 today.
Wow. Okay. Is he or Messi? Messi's the richest now, right?
I believe Messi's the richest now.
Now, because he got the deal with
he got
Miami.
the most recent money.
Well,
grab.
The thing that makes that deal is it also he got a piece of a little bit of Apple with that because they bought the MLS. So
yeah, so he like it was because I know Saudi Arabia or UAE, one of the Emirates, I think, offered him $1 billion and he turned it down.
Yeah, and Ronaldo's had some unfortunate PR moves.
Okay, what do you do?
Yeah,
just an ass.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Or these very
what a super talented professional athlete turns out to be an ass.
Yeah, I mean they learn from the best. I don't know if you guys remember Maradona.
Of course.
Yeah. On his car, it said first there was God, then there was Maradona. Yeah. That was painted on his car. That's when you like yourself a lot.
Maradona would have called Roy Tarpley an amateur.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was a very into the nose candy.
Oh yeah.
Other birthdays today. Country singer Tyler Farr turns 41. His big hit is Redneck Crazy, which is sometimes what happens to Raj on college campuses after too much Jaeger.
That was the mascot of my high school. Redneck Crazy.
Martial arts badass Tony Jaa is 49 today. Tony Jaa has been in some of my favorite martial arts movies, and we make a lot of fun of some of my movie choices here on the show, especially my affinity for the American Ninja franchise, because it is absolutely ridiculous and stupid and terrible. On the opposite end of that martial arts film spectrum are guys like Tony Jaa, who is celebrating a birthday today. He is 49.
And what movies has he been in?
I'll send you a couple of links because Tony Jaa has one of my favorite one shots in martial arts film history. I forget the name of the film. You can see it on YouTube. Just type in Tony Jaa one shot or Tony Jaa fight scene. I've seen not all of his films, but a good chunk of them. In one movie, there's a building that's got a courtyard going down the middle of it, and it's a spiral ramp that goes up to different levels. In one shot, it's a massive stunt where he runs up this incline, this ramp of a building, kicking the ever-loving crap out of people left and right, all in one shot. It is masterful.
Is there a Van Damme or a Norris in any of these films?
Nope, it's Tony Jaa, and he is a martial
arts.
Raj,
let me just peel off some of Tony Jaa's work catalog.
Fire away, Trey.
Monster Hunter.
No.
Kill Zone 2.
Oh.
Striking Rescue.
Mm-hmm.
Skin Trade.
Yes. Dan, just pick your favorites out of those.
I don't think I've seen any of those, but I have seen the Ong Bak trilogy, and those are phenomenal.
Detective Chinatown.
Yeah.
Oh, here's everything you need to know. He was in Mortal Kombat, the first movie.
Oh no. Dan liked that movie though, so
you guys make fun. You keep making fun of Tony Jaa. You're gonna go to sleep tonight, and then you're gonna wake up middle of the night to him throat punching you and elbowing you.
If I wake up in the middle of the night, Dan, and there's a 49-year-old Asian dude in my room, we've had bigger problems.
Yeah, I'm going to a meeting.
I'm coming with you.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
If you like the Treehouse show, then you will love us on social media. So give us a follow at Treehouse on Air across all the social media platforms. That's at Treehouse on Air. I'm Dan, along with Trey and Raj, inside the Treehouse with you today. Just a little bit more before we close up the Treehouse for today. First of all, the movie that starred Tony Jaa in the one long take where he's going up the stairs and up a ramp of a building in one long take was from 2005. The movie is called The Protector. You can just look it up on YouTube. It's just one long take. It's like 4 minutes long. It's him kicking people through doors and throwing them off balconies and stuff. But the martial arts movies that I really like of his are the Ong Bak trilogy.
Gotcha.
So there you go. So before you besmirch the name of martial arts badass Tony Jaa anymore on his birthday, no less, go watch a little bit of his work.
I gotcha. And are you going to watch Detective Chinatown, or should I review that one for myself?
Here's the weird thing about that. I don't even think he's Chinese. I think he's Thai.
Okay. That's how bad the movie is. They can't get a real Chinese guy to do it.
Let's just get a Thai guy to do it.
Let's go to Thailand and see what happens.
I think lots of people have said that.
That's okay when you wake up with a 49-year-old Asian in your room.
That's to be expected. Yeah, if before you go to Thailand, before you jump on a plane, you say, "Let's go to Thailand, see what happens," and you wake up in the middle of the night in Thailand with a 49-year-old Asian man in your room punching you in weird places, I think that's to be expected.
I think you paid extra for it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna watch Detective Chinatown.
I cannot speak to that film's quality.
Dan, here's I've been meaning to ask you.
Oh, no.
Did you ever see Gymkata?
Yes.
Of course you did.
We talked about that before. It's a gymnast who goes and participates in this Eastern European country. It was a precursor to the Hunger Games, Trey.
Sure.
Gymkata inspired countless films like it. Where
I don't believe inspired would be the word. Nobody's leaving that movie like, I got an idea for a screenplay.
we can do this better.
If they'll throw money at that, they're gonna love me. They're gonna love what I have.
No, that Gymkata was a movie that was a bunch of martial artists and a gymnast.
Kurt Thomas. Kurt Thomas.
Yeah, we're supposed to go to this made-up Eastern European country and participate in a dangerous game where they all have to see who can be the last person to live, I guess.
So
and the big fight scene is the guy acting like he's on the pommel horse, just kicking people around.
Because he was a gymnast.
He takes gold again. I don't know.
He did.
Oh, okay. By killing everybody in the movie. Okay.
Well, it's one of those really ridiculous. Look, it's a terrible movie, but yes, I've seen it. But it really is like Trey's not lying. It's like there just happens to be a pommel horse in the middle of this Eastern European country for him to scissor kick on, and all the bad guys have to do is just wait for him to tire out and fall off of it. But instead, they keep going up to him when he's doing the pommel horse, and he keeps kicking the crap out of him.
Yeah, it's their fault.
At a certain point, yeah.
Like I've always wondered who the bin, like at the Dollar Tree, the bin of DVDs that are in there. Like I've always wondered, like, who buys these? And now he's the host of this show.
It's the Dan bin.
That's what I'm going to call it from now on.
It's what it is. The sad thing is, Raj, is the Dan bins have lured me, whether it was Walmart or wherever, and you see the $1, $2, $5 DVD, kiosk at the store, and I'll start going through them like, oh, maybe I'll find a good deal. And the problem is I've already seen all of them. So my dumbass paid full price.
Paid full price for some that went straight to DVD. Yeah. You should have just given it a week.
Like, on the movie posters, it'll have like movie critics saying riveting or magical, whatever sort of one word thing. It's like on some of those movies, it'll say like one guy saw it in the theater.
No, it says Dan watched it. Like that's all it says.
I've seen that. That's what it says in the corner with 5 stars underneath it with quotes attributed to Dan O'Malley. Just the quote that says, "I've seen this."
Little sad Danny with his big pencil and a popcorn bucket on his head.
I love movies. Thanks for hanging out with us inside the Treehouse. Follow all things Treehouse at treehouseonair.com and on social media at Treehouse On Air. For me, at the Dan O'Malley. For Trey, at Trey Trenholm 1. And for Raj, at Comedian Raj. We'll see you back here tomorrow inside the Treehouse.